Good afternoon. My name is Cov. I work in the marketing and social media side of things for Odigo. Mark over here is one of our co-founders. So Odigo is a trip planning and sharing site that makes it... Oh, sorry, I didn't realise that. Can you hear me better now? Odigo is a trip planning and sharing site that makes it easy for visitors to plan their trips to Japan. And they can do that by seeing recommendations that have been created by local experts, artists, writers, photographers, who each give a little bit of insight into what they love to see and do around Japan. So at the moment, what you can do is you can create your own itinerary, a customized version, or you can follow a pre-made trip, which you can then download onto your mobile device, or you can print out into a handy pocket-sized guide. It looks like this. Sorry about that. So at the moment, Japan's infrastructure, its roads and its railway networks are second to none, but Japan's tourism infrastructure needs some help. So if you don't speak Japanese, it's actually quite difficult to travel around to the countryside and explore different towns and prefectures, and there's so much to see. Japan has so much more to offer than just the Tokyo-Kyoto kind of corridor. There are people who are creating some really amazing things, some beautiful arts and crafts, specialty foods, and also some really interesting products. And it's really a shame because there's just so much more out there. And so what Odigo can do, it can help people to explore those areas and help to revitalise the countryside. Well, let me give you an example. So recently I went to Tochigi, and I went to Utsunomiya, and I also went to Nigo as well. And I stayed in Utsunomiya, and I booked my accommodation online. I went to the travel office and I booked my Shinkansen ticket, and then I went on to Odigo and I planned my trip. So I picked out spots of things that I was really interested in, like galleries, museums, exhibitions and shrines and temples. And then what I did was I downloaded the trip onto my mobile device, and I also printed out the guide. But I'm both a kind of online and offline person, so when I was there, I ended up using my phone to take lots of photos, and I ended up using the pocket guide to actually help navigate my way around the city. So what I really want to actually say is I want to show you a demonstration of how the synergy between the traveller and the local town comes together using Odigo. So after a day's touring, I actually went back to the hotel, and I asked the concierge to give me some recommendations of places to eat. He handed me a map that highlighted where the nearest McDonald's and Starbucks was, and that's not what I was interested in. Utsunomiya is famous for gyoza, and I was desperate to try this famous gyoza. And so I asked him, I said, "Where's your favourite gyoza restaurant?" And he told me. So I went to this place and I ate delicious gyoza. And the great thing is that I could then add that place back into Odigo. So I wrote about what I ate, I explained how I ordered it, and I described how to find it. And so the next person that goes to Utsunomiya, they'll be able to go quite confidently to that place where I ate gyoza, and they'll be able to order it. And everything is in Japanese, but using the spot recommendation that I've written, they'll now be able to feel confident enough to go and do that themselves. And that's really Odigo in motion. So the next day I went to Nigo, the shrines and temples of Nigo, and a lot of the signage in Nigo is in Japanese, but using my Odigo guide I was able to use the English information to see what I was seeing, basically. To read what I was seeing, sorry. So basically, Odigo wants to open up the length and breadth of Japan to people, to visitors who want to explore hidden treasures, particularly in the run-up to the Olympics in 2020, where these great cultural connections will be made. Odigo can make it possible for travellers to visit places outside of the usual, and also let these travellers venture into Japan's heart and also find those things for themselves. Thank you.
Awesome.
Questions from the judges? We've got Tiffany.
Travel is a very large, profitable space. It's also brutally, viciously competitive. So I'd like to ask, first, what kind of traction are you seeing now? And how many users approximately to your site per month do you think you need to be profitable on this?
There are two questions. What is the business model? And the second one is how much do we have to get to be profitable? So the first question about the business model. Actually, we want to work with the prefectures. The prefectures which has more and more money every year to promote Japan to the outside world. And this money actually for now is used to print, to use actually the former century technology to promote what is the best places to go to Japan. But we're in the 21st century, and we need to tell them that they have to use modern technology to be exposed to the outside world. And that's where we come in. Because we love Japan, Odigo is made of people who love Japan, and we tell them, instead of using this money for printing things that nobody will read, why don't you use actually a digital platform which has feedback which are authentic, not from actually people that are paid to write good stuff, but people with experience, foreigners with experience, a lot of things about your areas. And then we provide actually for them a regional marketing tool. And that's how we get actually the business model working. And the second question is, how many people do we expect? So that would be region per region. Meaning, we try to get actually a fair deal for them, saying we commit to bring you X amount of people because you deserve it. And that's part of a contract that we want to negotiate with them.
Have you been able to negotiate any contracts with cities or prefectures yet?
Kanchigi is starting.
Sorry. Working.
Yeah, that's it.
So I have the same problem when I'm traveling, and I went to Nagano recently. And then what I did, I googled, what's in Nagano, and I got a list of 20, 30 things, and it was slightly hard to pick what to do and do ratings, TripAdvisor or something else. Like, how do you curate the content? You said you go to the Gyoza place, but let's imagine you have 1 million users at some point. How do you curate all the information, make it actually not overwhelming for me to go to that Gyoza place?
Okay, so the content is curated from, we're reaching out to a lot of local organisations and a lot of expats and even a lot of Japanese people who we're encouraging them to share what it is that they love about Japan. So at the moment we have over 100 people contributing to the site, and we expect that to grow. And we have a team of content editors and people who are kind of managing the content in the back end at the moment. It's actually a very manual process just now, and we're not sure how we're going to automate it yet, but it's something that we're definitely working on for the next version. And in terms of people using the site, who will be able to then add content onto the site directly from the front end, again, that we've got a process, holding kind of draft mode. Yes, sorry. It's a draft mode. So when the content comes in, it's in draft, and then the team of editors will look at it first before it goes live.
Thank you very much, guys. Again, congratulations, Odigo.